Very good morning. We as forensic experts usually collect samples for chemical analysis and many other lab tests. That is very crucial for determining the cause of death in many situations. Sometimes the report will tell us what against our expectations that may affect our opinion also. May not be due to the right technique of collecting, but from your talk, we are expecting how we can collect it, improve better way, so that we will get a correct and accurate chemical test that will help us to opine regarding the cause of death for use.
So before starting the topic, I think best to practice the sampling techniques in forensic science. The madam pointed out that sometimes the opinion is totally different from the expert and from the forensic doctor. So the aim of all of us, that means the police peoples, forensic doctors, forensic expert and judiciary, we all four are working together to provide justice, including the lawyers. So regarding the forensic examination, I think still the public thinks forensics is a magical science. They have to answer for every question asked by the public, asked by the IO, asked by the government, and asked by any person, because they think forensic science can solve all the issues related to a crime or related to any issue. From my side, I think in my 18 years of experience as forensic expert, and especially I am focusing on DNA fingerprinting for the last 5-6 years, and involved in various crimes throughout Kerala, means dealing with the DNA examination, I have some queries in my mind also. As every people says, I have still queries going on in my mind. Sometimes we are receiving the samples in odd heading. Odd heading means people still not aware of how many forensic labs and what the facilities are available in our forensic labs. So, just for an introduction, I just give you, we have 4 main forensic center boards in Kerala. The one is State AFSL, Thiruvananthapuram. Second one, RFSL, Regional Lab in Kochi. Next RFSL in Biju, and next RFSL in Kannur, and I am working in RFSL Kannur. And we have 14 district forensic labs opened last year. In every district, we have small DFSL is there. And any communication addressed to State FSL must be under the heading Director FSL. Any communication to the RFSL must be under the heading Joint Director RFSL. Any communication now to District Forensic Labs under the heading Assistant Director in charge. There is not, Assistant is not there, the SO is there, but you have to address in charge. This is the address for communication to forensic labs. And next one, about the DNA facilities, because nowadays people are always asking for DNA examination for every samples. I think some of the authors have already pointed out that for every sample they are asking for DNA samples. So one question before coming here, last day I got a phone call from my friend said one of my colleague asked a number from police department. Okay, then I said okay, then here's a query. Then the madam called me and said, from the doctor's side, they collected 4 samples. There is first one scalp hair, as everyone knows, scalp hair. Second one nail clippings, and third one blood in cotton gauze, dried blood in cotton gauze, and fourth one heart muscle beat for DNA examination. These are 4 samples cut to doctor and hand out to the IO. And IO make confusion. What question I have to ask? Then I said, which is the person? You know the person. Yes, sir. Name, address, everything is there. Then ask. Then why you are sending the sample DNA examination? From the that means the heart muscle beat. Can I identify the person? No, because we already know the name, address, everything is there. And for the blood group, blood cotton was, can I get the blood group? Already the doctor pointed out the group of the deceased. The scan here, what I can do? Because it is a 174 case and it is a case of suicide. Then IO said, I'm totally confused. The doctors give us a samples to me. Then what I can do with samples? Then I said, keep in a safe custody as a job. Then sir said, sir, give me one question. Then I said, to solve the issue, I have only one question. You just ask whether the nail clippings contain any foreign DNA particles. I know the question will later reach to my office in my hand and I have to work out all that. So I just asked to solve the issue, I asked any foreign DNA particles must be present in the nail clippings. If present, preserve for future comparison. I know it is not a good question, but sometimes to solve the issue, to solve the police people or to solve the questions, I have to raise a question like that. That's why I am asking, why we are collecting samples and why we are sending the samples to the laboratory. There should be a definite questionnaire will be there. That must be, the IO should be aware of that, the doctor should be aware of that, FSL expert must be aware of that. So we are working in our concerned field. So I have nothing, I think, little knowledge about forensic medicine. Frankly says, about the law, I have little knowledge. But I am maximum workouting in my area, that's my biological examination, maybe DNA fingerprinting. So this coordination among police, doctors, forensic expert will be the lack of coordination will be the major issue nowadays the judiciary is facing. That's why I am just pointing out that the coordination among these all groups must be needed. Then only we can solve the issues. There are conferences regarding forensic medicine, regarding forensic experts, regarding police pupils, regarding lawyers, but there is no such combined coordination. Coordination among all peoples are not present nowadays. That's a major issue we are facing. So we have 3 DNA laboratories. One is State FSL, second one at Thrissur, and third one at RFSL Kannur. So any sample for DNA examination, we can send these laboratories under their judiciary. You can check it because under my Kannur, Kasaragod, Kozhikode and Vandanam. All these 4 districts comes under my area. Then for Thrissur, we can Thrissur, Malappuram, Palakkad, and all other samples of DNA examination must be sent to the state of Thiruvananthapuram. That is just an outline of what are the facilities we have in our laboratories. Then second one, from the part of doctors and in the court, we are facing question. What is the admissibility of DNA in Indian legal system? Is it admissible? Is it admissible? Is it a conclusive evidence? Is it a conclusive evidence? As per book, as per law, it is corroborative evidence. But the Honorable Supreme Court pointed out that it can be considered as a conclusive evidence because we are seeing 99.999%, not 100%. Because 1 out of 862 million can repeat the same DNA as per our thought. But it is almost nullifiable. But we are providing 99.99999. So, how to make it conclusive? I think the initial step also the Honorable President has pointed out that. How to make the evidence into conclusive? For that, we have to give an opinion in objective wise, not subjective. So that is the main issue we have faced. The court asked, you have answered yes or no. And I said the last day also, sir, I can't say yes or no because I want to explain the fact. Because all of them are not aware of this fact. So in front of the judiciary, I have to explain the fact. Now the court allows us to explain. In earlier times, no, you say yes, you say no, you say yes or no. And I said, now we have to explain. So what is the admissibility? Have you ever think about the importance of consent letter from the person from your company samples? Not the dead bodies, from the live victims. So from the live victims, we are collecting samples for DNA, usually blood, because the surveillance pointed out that there is no need of collecting semen. In my experience in Kerala, from 2007 onwards, I have not received any semen samples, frankly speaking. Not receiving any semen samples, I receive only blood samples for DNA. So when you are collecting blood samples, what significance of consent letter from the person accused? Why? It is, I think, it must be necessary. Why we are collecting consent letter? Why? So if you are not collecting the Honorable High Court has a judgment, I will point out later. So initially, the consent from the accused must be necessary because we write in the local language. I know the exact reason for why these samples are collecting, and I know the plus and minus of everything like that. And he signed there. Why? It is as per Article 20 within bracket 3. Have you heard about that? A lot of judgments there. Judgments in the case of ND Tiwari is there. And in the case of, I think, Selvi versus State of Karnataka, in the case said, because without this consent also we can take the items, but in a proper way, we have to collect the blood samples from the accused or suspect with his or her consent. Because till date, the DNA bill was not passed in our legislature. Have you heard that DNA bill is still pending, but people think that if the DNA bill comes into our public, sometimes with this law, one blood sample, the person can identify all the features. It is not possible. That's called whole genomic sequence. But in forensic lab, we are dealing with some other techniques, or STR techniques. Those are, we are identifying just for the person is there, the semen belongs to the same person, the blood belongs to some person, only like that. We are not conducting whole genome in lab. So, for the admissibility, first, if possible, I think, just make the practice that we have to take the consent from the accused or the suspect. Then, that's about the constitutional values, Article 20 within bracket 3, we all are aware of that. That's a part of DNA answer incrimination, I think people will be aware of that. In the forensic lab, for DNA examiner, we have 4 main steps, that is extraction, quantification, amplification, sequencing. These all techniques are common throughout the universe. Throughout the universe. Extraction techniques are 1, 2, 3 and 4 we have. Then quantification we are using RT-PCR. Not RT-PCR, real-time PCR. Then amplification using PCR technique. Then sequencing we are using sequencing machines. These technology are same throughout the world. So that is why we are standing that we are using the international standards. So there is no more question regarding this technology because we are using the same technology in US, the same in UK, using Australia. So we have the same techniques throughout the world. So that is our main strength in forensic lab. Then I just point out the method of sample collection. So we have forensic doctors and we have doctors also. So in the case of sexual assault victim, we are collecting samples. As Sir has pointed out that there is a traditional format of collecting samples. So if a rape victim comes in front of the doctor, I am receiving so many samples. Scalp hair, pubic hair, then axillary hair if possible, then vagina swab, vagina washings, nail pins, everything they can collect. And in the questionnaire, only one question is there, is sperm is present in the items, including scalp hair also. In some questionnaire, because doctors got all samples in one packet, I will take it into custody and he asks a question, whether sperm present in item. When I ask, you are asking sperm in scalp hair. Then said, no, so I don't know because doctor cut the samples I have sent to you and I have only know one question, that is, whether sperm is present or not. If present, other question, if present, prepare DNA profile and preserve in the laboratory for future purpose. These are some traditional questions we are receiving. That's what I'm saying. So why we are collecting samples? And in the rape victim, Sir pointed out that we have to collect the vagina swab. But if the rape history is, I think, 3 or 4 days back, then mere peripheral swab will not be a useful one. You have to go for cervical swab. You have to go for cervical swab. And as per theoretical and as per practical knowledge, after 5 to 6 days, there's no chance of getting spermatozoa in the vaginal swab. There's no chance of getting swab. But in the case of, there's a history. The rape happened it was 12. That is 12 years back. And we are collecting the vaginal swab. Then for what? Then for DNA examination. This is why huge samples are pending in the laboratory. Because in majority of cases, I think when we sort out the sexual offense cases, these samples like this. So we have to check the number of samples and to check whether these samples are appropriate or not. The second issue we are facing and why we are delaying the report. And third one, for DNA examination, whether to match the semen, to match with the hair, to match with the bone, to match with anything, we need only blood samples. So from the accused, we collect only blood for DNA, collect only blood samples. This blood sample, with the blood sample we can identify the semen, with the hair, the bone, the swab, anything. So because DNA is unique for in whole body parts. So in the accused or suspect, to compare with anything in DNA, we need only blood samples. That's another one. We can reduce the number of samples. We need only blood samples. The second question, how to collect the blood samples? I think usually in live victim we are collecting in 2 EDT. Am I right? So usually I have heard we have to collect duplicates. Am I right? We have to collect a duplicate. Sometimes duplicate, sometimes 4, 5, 6. This one collect around 2 to 3 ml of blood samples in 5 ml ED2 in duplicates. There's a question then. I have to collect 5 ml in 1 tube. That's sufficient. Because why we are collecting 2.5 or 2 ml in 2 tubes? What's the need of this duplication? Why we are collecting duplicate samples? Because in blood sample, in 1 ED2, there was 1 and another 2, 2. So we have to collect duplicate. Why we are collecting duplicate? So sometimes doctor said, collect the triplicate. Okay, no issue. But minimum duplicate. Why? Why? If in 1 tube, so if we collect in 1 tube, what happens that in 1 tube we are doing DNA examination. If any issue raised later on, the same second sample should be sent to another lab or to any other examination. If we again talk to the accused that we had collected samples, then sometimes he denied that already DNA samples have been taken. So second time, in front of the court, he can say, in the first time, the IO or anyone, I have collected my samples for DNA examination. So second time, samples he can deny. That's why we are collecting samples in duplicate, in 2 samples. Then, I think, for collection of blood samples, we are going to FDA card. Because the short of time, that's I'm getting fast. Have you got an FDA card? Have you got FDA printers technology? FDA means there's lack of this time, so I just show you the photograph. This YouTube, everyone knows. This is FDA card. Have you got FDA card? Why this FDA is most useful? Because there is no worry about this sample storage. Because I have shown you an FDA card is there. That's what the FDA card I have shown there. Then there is a 4 circles there. So in a single FDA card, we can collect 4 samples, 4 different birth samples. 1, 2, 3 and 4 get level. And after, just look at that, the amount of blood there. Only I think it must be around less than 1 ml. Not 1 ml, less than 1 ml. So it is sufficient for conducting almost 20 to 30 test DNA examination. This one sample sufficient for more than 20 to 30. That means you just think about how less quantity required for DNA examination. But same thing you have to think about the same issue in the negative side also. This much is required for contamination also. These are the 2 extreme sides. So this much quantity is required for examination. So same thing is required for our contamination also. So think about how much you have to care about the collection. This is third issue with contamination is we are facing. So to reduce, we can use a FTA card. After this drying, we can store it every place. So now I have kept FTA card with my pocket in my safe custody. No need of worry. You are thinking about how to transport it. I am transporting from Kannur to my Ernakulam to Kottayam to my again back to my home. This is FTA card. Having 2 samples. There is no contamination. Nothing wrong with that. So I have taken, dried, then folded, and I kept in my purse or kept in my office. I said we have a lot of techniques to reduce our contamination. Third one, we check for the contamination. And
from the plaster, you showed that adhesive plaster. From that, how will you transfer it to the FTA?
No. In adhesive plasters, there's technology totally different. So we have some adhesive masks there. Then doctors have done the same thing. If adhesives are present, we have separate the cells from first step. The technology is little different because we have to treat the samples with some heat treatment. Then from adhesive tab, it is not possible to transfer. So I am saying in the liquid blood or a crime scene, liquid blood is that we can transfer to FTA card. So liquid type material can be transferred to FTA card. Otherwise, we can use cotton gauze. People say, but I showed this picture, cotton gauze with blood stain. Have you ever seen like this? Because there's a difference. I write in the report, a cotton goes with brown colored stain. Have you ever noticed that in the report? A cotton goes with brown colored stain. Then, what's the meaning of that? A cotton goes with brown colored stains. Then, a white goes with stains on certain area. What actually in a crime scene, what we have happening? So what is there? Taken a cotton goes and we wipe it out. So all the cotton goes become brown. So there is no pinpoint of the samples. So if you collect this particular point, then exams will be more accurate. So these are some of the issues we are facing. Then I think regarding the bone samples, postmortem samples, how we are collecting in cotton goes, right? It's the best method. We can collect in cotton goes. We can dry it. We can air dry it. Yes, we can in filter paper. FTA card is okay. In filter paper, we also got some issue. Because in DNA examination, the paper, if it is not in a good quality material, it can inhibit DNA examination. So, we can use cotton gauze, sterile cotton gauze in a proper way. But unfortunately, sometimes this cotton gauze should be collected in plastic bottle. So, when I opened the case in my lab, people said the smell spread all over the lab. So, we report that we have some foul smell was not emitting. Otherwise, we can't stand in front of the court. So we can take a small piece, dried it, then we can cover in a paper bag. That's sufficient. Nothing wrong with that. We can develop DNA exam. So cotton gauze is an easily available material. So we can collect the sample. Before packing, you have to air dry the material. Then I think for bone samples, we are doing bone samples. They are collecting for DNA examination. First is the blood is the main priority. Not all blood. It's the first one. Second one, muscle tissues we can collect. Third one, bone samples. Then teeth, anything. So in a paper we have no among bone, femur is the best one. I say technology has changed a lot. So even clavicle is the material cause some issue. Only clavicle. All other materials are, nowadays we can extract DNA. But if you are collecting teeth, especially molar teeth for DNA examination, you must be careful that we had got a second sample also. So if possible, sometimes people got only one teeth. If the result fails, then another sample. So if collecting postmortem samples, please collect one extra samples. That means not 2 teeth. I am saying if one is teeth, the second is the tissue. Or if one is teeth and the bone. So collect alternative sample also, then only we can give a good result. And second one, for bone samples and tissue samples, crystal salt is the best preservative. So you don't run behind anything. You just take a bottle, put some crystal salt, put the bone piece, again put the crystal salt and try it. There's no need of refrigeration. There's no need of going beyond minus 20, minus 40, or minus 4 degree, you just keep it in a salt and send laboratory. So it is easy way because we have lot of technologies available at the local side also. These techniques are sufficient for DNA, but lack of these things are the main issues we are facing in front of this. And nowadays I'm just finding up because now people are saying touch DNA. This is another question we are now facing. The last time, and IO asked me, sir, I have got a beautiful board in some marshy area, so I am thinking about touch DNA. Then I asked the question, what's touch DNA? He said, I heard somewhere DNA is present everywhere. It is not omnipotent. It is not present everywhere. Touch DNA means DNA can be extracted from the article we are using daily, from my watch, from my earrings, from my everything. But it is not 100% sure, but we can extract DNA. That also we are trying with our technology now. And now for DNA extraction, sir pointed out that in the talk, the Shri case, landslide case, DNA done within 24 hours. That is, I think Dr. says my best friend. I know he was in also 24 hours. Why it happens? Earlier times, with the bone sample, we need more than 1 month to do the examination. 1 month. But what technology changed, we are doing automated extraction method, so we need only 5 to 6 hours for extraction and 1.5 hours for our quantification, 1 hour for our amplification, and 40 minutes for sequencing. That means altogether we can, that is, the 30 days work should be now reduced to almost 9-10 hour work. That is why we can provide the bone samples within shortly. That is why we are processing the technologies. These are the only issue that in the forensic report, sometimes conclusive report should not be provided because of sample issue. So we have checked out about how to solve these issues in our future. That is why these conference will be, like this conference will be useful for our community. So I just winding up my words by saying that the coordination among doctors, police officers, then FSL experts, and public prosecutors, everything should be in a proper way to maintain chain of custody is useful. Otherwise, the process goes on like this, so we can do anything from our system. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The questions can be asked in the panel discussion.
I am from Chemical Examination Laboratory, headquarters in Thiruvananthapuram. Actually, as per the NABL norms, and you know about NABL or NABH accreditation, who are our customers? Actually, the forensic surgeons are the main customers of Chemical Examination Laboratory because we are doing the forensic toxicology analysis of viscera and other biological samples. Our laboratory, some problems are creating to you. Anyway, this panel discussion is there. We can, because we have a lot of problems with us, and also then we can eliminate as far as possible. My topic is optimizing forensic investigation with respect to this forensic toxicology. Actually, then there is a postmortem autopsy or any forensic examination. Actually, there is a crime scene. Then, as already told in the earlier sessions, there is a crime scene. Then a lot of people are involved for this crime scene and for the for finding the truth. Only this forensic doctors have a role, and then forensic experts like scientific community have a role. Then some investigating officers also involved. Then some other photographs or documents. Some divisions are there. Then all these, especially lawyers also, as already in the inaugural session, we have to include this in the law part also. Some talk is also necessary because all these when collectively come together, then only we can find the truth. Otherwise, there is some gap. That is the reason for already we have some gap between all these communities. That is, we have to sort out by using this type of seminars. Then, usually the steps in forensic investigation. Actually, when there is a crime, first of all, usually the investigating officers they send to the forensic crime scene for examination. The first part is the securing the crime scene. The main evidence is the MOs collected from the crime scene. There is, as already told in the previous session, the DNA contamination is a very problem for DNA analysis. Then the securing the crime scene is very important. Then only the following steps will be successful. Then initial survey. Usually, when there is a crime scene, the investigating officers have a plan whether they have to collect any MOs or any lifting of fingerprint or DNA collection or any other method. Then, first of all, the forensic these investigating authorities have a survey about what they have to do from the crime scene. Next is documentation. You know that when there is a crime, photographs and videos are not mandatory. Then forensic photographers and videographers are there. They will take the crime scene photos. Then physical evidence crush. Example: fingerprints, blood stain for identification of blood groups or for like DNA fingerprinting or weapons or clothing, etc. Then forensic examination of collected evidence. Actually, when there is a crime scene, if there is a person is involved, then mainly the role of forensic surgeon, that is autopsy, is mandatory. Then the role of forensic doctors or forensic surgeon comes into picture. Actually, already the autopsy is done to know or to identify the cause of death. Then next is the manner of death, that is, it is natural death or homicide, suicide or accident, etc. Then contributing factors like underlying conditions like injuries. Then, as already discussed in the earlier session, actually I give a typical example. In one case, a girl is 17 years old. He committed suicide by drowning in a river. Then usually the postmortem is conducted and the samples are sent to chemical examination. Actually, at that time, normally in Kerala, I think when there is a girl or like a female, usually the sample for sexual hazard, that is usually taken for analysis. The same thing is also happened here, but if it is omitted in that forensic autopsy procedure, actually the fact is the cause of death is drowning, but the vaginal swab smear is also sent for chemical examination, and on chemical examination, the serology section found that some spermatozoa is found. Then the report was sent to the investigating officers. Then they started investigation, and this is I also sent for a DNA examination and found some person has a illegal sex activities with this girl, and the accused was caught and the trial is going on. Actually, anyway, this is a POXO case because this is a 17-year-old girl. Then the scenario of this case is changed. Therefore, whenever there is an autopsy, sometimes it's required to take the sample for this sexual sample for this vaginal system and spermatozoa. That's an example. Then forensic laboratory examination. In that, the forensic laboratory will come under picture. Actually, forensic laboratory, our laboratory have a division of forensic toxicology, then forensic serology, then forensic biology. DNA fingerprinting is not present in our laboratory. If there is a semen or spermatozoa is detected, the sample is again preserved and against sending for DNA profiling in the forensic science laboratory. Then cyberforensics is not available in chemical examination laboratory, that is also done in forensic science laboratory. Then after that, investigative follow-up. Then interviews and statements of witness, victims, suspects, etc., reconstruction of the scene, etc. That is also a part of the investigating team. We are not usually not involved in that stuff, but sometimes the forensic surgeon may be present in that this step also. Then final steps. That is already discussed in the inaugural session. Then report preparation and testimony in the court. That is very crucial because in the court, as already told, the reports are sometimes contrary to the investigation part. Then sometimes our report may be discarded. Then you have careful about giving the court testimony in the court. That is very crucial situation. Then finally the cross-prosecution, case prosecution and court verdict. That is the final stage. That is whenever there is a crime, crime investigation from the scene to the final court. All these are, a number of people are involved in these steps. And then again this forensic surgeon and forensic laboratory are also a crucial part in this. Then role of chemical examination, laboratory in forensic investigation. Actually, this is a chemical examination laboratory in Kerala. Foreign science laboratory is also there. Chemical examination laboratory is there. All other states have these are clubbed together, but still in Kerala these are working independently. Anyway, it is established in India to render independent scientific service to the criminal justice system. In Kerala, also in the state of Kannur, very early, in 1890, it was also established in Kerala. Then this is the organizational structure for chemical examination laboratory. All the labs are NABL accredited. We have a central laboratory and headquarters at Thiruvananthapuram. Thiruvananthapuram have the jurisdiction of Thiruvananthapuram, Kollam, Pathanamthitta, Alappuzha and Kottayam. All these, the Kottayam Medical College, then there is a autopsy in Kottayam Medical College. Then the samples are sent to Thiruvananthapuram Chemical Examination Laboratory. In Ernakulam, Idukki, Thrissur and Palakkad district command regional forensic laboratory, Ernakulam. Then Kozhikode, Calicut, Malappuram, Calicut, Wayanad, Kannur and Kasaragod. These are the jurisdictional power of chemical examination laboratory. Then departments in chemical examination laboratory. The main department is toxicology, as already told. 80% of the samples received in chemical examination laboratory are sent by the forensic doctors. The testing material objects including viscera, body fluids, etc. in murder case, suspecting human and animal poisoning. All these cases, that is when where there is a natural death, usually the samples are sent for chemical examination. Then narcotics, testing of drugs of abuse like ganja, benzodiazepines, amphetamines, LSD, etc. Conducted in narcotic department. Then serology, testing MOs in sexual offences, murder, etc. But this section is now it's narrowed because of the lack of DNA in chemical examination laboratory. But during autopsy sample, the serology samples are usually sent to us. But if there is a positive for spermatozoa, then definitely again it is required and again it goes to FSL for DNA fingerprinting. Otherwise, it is not valid. That's the situation. Then this is not related to, again, for your information, the material objects in alcoholic beverages, that is the percentage of alcohol or any harmful ingredients present in the liquor. That is, alcohol related cases are also carried out in chemical examination laboratory. Then other things like it's also not directly related to you. There is a general chemistry department. This is for testing mineral oil, explosives, pyrotechnic composition, gold, cement, bitumen, concrete, etc. for some vigilance or investigative purpose for the composition of cement or the purity of gold, whether it is a spurious gold, etc. That is also conducted in chemical examination laboratory. As far as concerning you, this serology and toxicology are the main sections in laboratory. When there is a sample sent to you, our laboratory, we have a general procedure that we have a classification of viscera and biological samples. First of all, rule out poisoning cases. That is history of drowning, hanging, RTA, murder, having some diseases, death in hospitals, etc. due to some disease. These are generally for rule out poisoning. But rule out poisoning means we have to conduct whether any poison is present in the. But we have a convention that we have to discuss are called rule out poisoning cases. Then if there is poisoning cases, pesticides soluble in organic solvents. That is, when postmortem is conducted and this stomach or visceral contents are sent to chemical examination, that poison can be extracted to an organic solvent. Then that is, we call it as pesticides soluble in organic solvents. Then examples endosulfan, or one category is organophosphaticides. Example endosulfan, DDT, etc. Then organophosphate or organophosphorus pesticides, quinolphos, chlorpyrifos, glyphosate, ethion, parathion, etc. Then carbamate pesticides, carbofuran, propexar, carbaryl, etc. These are nowadays it's already abandoned. It's not commonly available. Then the commonly available pesticides now are pyrethroid pesticides. These are cypermethrin, fenvalerate, cyhalothrin, etc. Then pesticides soluble in water. Glyphosate, tartrap, hydrochloride, chloride, dichloride, etc. That pesticides are highly soluble in water. Then it's very difficult to extract into an organic solvent. That is a problem facing for analyzing this type of pesticides. But these are now common nowadays. Then some problem faced by the forensic doctors for some samples are returned for some discrepancy. Then the general guideline for sending viscera for chemical examination. That is, first is the request letter for chemical examination in sealed cover. Then material objects properly sealed with the tamper-proof packing having label. That is, the MOC is packed properly with a seal and a label. Details such as the age of the deceased, time number, police station, etc. What are the details available? Then letter reference number. For your convenience, postmortem number, OP number, casualty number, medical lab record number, etc. Then name of the items. What are the items sent? Whether, for example, stuff with the contents, liver, blood, then preservative, etc. Then the sample set should be affixed in the forwarding letter for comparison. That is for the legal purpose, that is mandatory. Then nature of examination. Normally routine chemical analysis, in some cases we use specifically mention about the nature of examination. Normally routine chemical analysis means we have a protocol for general screening of poison. For example, if you want to know more specifically, please specify it. Then copy of label. What are the labels attached in the material objects? Each copy should be also be submitted with the letter sent to chemical examination. That is called copy. That is also for comparison, whether the sample is changed or not. That is then name of the forwarding officer with the signature, designation and office. That means hospital. These are the things for sending chemical. This is not a common. You can the forwarding letter contains this type of documents. Otherwise, there is a problem for us. Then next is information furnished by the investigating officer. Usually, due to what are the information it's available to you. Please, that is also informed. Then usually, please send the original letter to the laboratory and use carbon copy for your purpose. Usually, sometimes the original should be kept with you and the carbon copy. There is a problem in the court. Sometimes they have to ask for producing the forwarding note to the court. Then if it is a carbon copy, there is some question. Then the challenges in chemical examination of biological sample. First one is extraction of unlabeled from biological matrix. That means the poison is there or the drug is there, but we have to extract this poison from the complex matrix. That is a challenging procedure. Then rapid degradation of drugs and poisons both in vivo and in vitro. That is usually, especially in the case of drugs, it's very difficult to detect some drugs. Then difficulty in separating water-soluble pesticides from biological matrix. Because already it is water-soluble, you have a postmortem is conducted, then you have to collect the samples in bottles, then dilution is possible, then very difficult to extract this from the biological matrix. Then estimation of drugs from biological samples. Actually, as of now, usually drug is not estimated in chemical examination laboratory commonly. But if there is a special requirement, we have conducted the estimation. But estimation is not possible because it has some difficulty because the reference is required for estimation, that is standard is required. But we have only the screening or detection is conducted. There is some question of estimation of drugs in biological samples. As of the interpretation of the concentration of drugs in postmortem blood and tissue specimens is complicated because drugs are unstable in vivo and in vitro. Some benzodiazepines like nitrosamine, clonazepam are known to be unstable in vivo, and the back calculation of perimortem concentration is not practical. Many other drugs have poor stability in postmortem blood, for example, chlordiazepam, olanzapine, etc. Therefore, the estimation of this type of drug creates some difficulty because it's of no value. Then other thing is, actually, this is when I came to here, our director informed to show a data for you. Actually, this is a simple data. The postmortem samples sent it to our laboratory for all the 3 laboratories are 780 samples. But compared to other states, for example, in Bihar, it is around Orissa around 200 to 250. Orissa is somewhat higher than our state. Then the analyzed samples is only 485. That is pendency. That is 305 samples are again pending in chemical examination laboratory. It's not a pass from your part, but this is the fact. Already said in the earlier session, this forensic community, they are very less in number. The crimes are increasing exponentially, and as a forensic surgeon, you have to conduct the postmortem report. There is no other option. But all these samples are again pending in this forensic institution, and a total pendency of viscera only in our laboratory. That is 1,370. It is not a good practice. Actually, we have to sort out this problem. Then, how to reduce the samples? If possible, we have already discussed with the doctors coming to our laboratory as a part of your training. If possible, I don't know, if possible, please, you can reduce the sample sent for chemical examination, but for the sake of you, usually, but there is a problem. For example, in Kudathai case, the case is revealed after 5 or 6 years. After at that time, there is no samples are sent for chemical examination. There is a challenge there. Anyway, we have to sort out this issue. Then only we can reduce the variance. Otherwise, we have to strengthen the laboratory or forensic community. These are some instruments used. Actually, if extraction is possible or purification is possible, then definitely we have the sufficient instruments to detect the drug or poison. This is gas chromatograph with headspace. That is for the detection of either alcohol in blood and urine. Then this is gas chromatograph mass spectrometer for the detection of drugs and poisons. Most of the drugs can be detected by using this instrument. But the only problem is that the extraction from the matrix is complex. Then it will interfere. Then this is UV visual spectrophotometer. This is for the detection of drugs, including drugs in NDPS site. This is liquid chromatograph mass spectrometer. This is for the detection of water soluble. I already told glyphosate, like that is an herbicide. These are commonly used for this suicide purpose. This can be detected by using this instrument. Then, thank you.
Thank you, sir. About the functioning of the chemical examiner's lab. I think the audience will have many doubts regarding this. I think the leaders will be allowed time for question and then during the panel discussion. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I memento to the speakers. I invite Dr. Ajeesh Thekkatavan and Mr. Biju to receive the mementos. Assistant Professor, Department of Forensic Medicine, Government Medical College, Kolmi, to present the memento to our chairpersons.